What up, guys? It's Phil with Phil's Lawn Care.
Hey, it's Aaron with the Mowing in the Dark Lawn Care Podcast.
Hey guys, Cameron here with the Lawn Care Life in Missouri.
Hey everyone, this is Evan with Turf Nerds, a lawn care podcast.
Hey guys, this is Dan White with Lawn Care Unscripted.
And you're listening to the Lawn Care Talk with Tony Rudolph.
What is going on, everyone? I have a super special guest tonight, and it's been a couple years in the making, and he's just so kind to come on here, just like, oh man, I've had probably 20 interviews this year, and I'm so amazed by the people that take time to come on my podcast, and that's just, high caliber people like the guy we have on here today. A couple of years ago, I saw like one of his very first YouTube video has a super, super inspiring story of beating the odds out there, basically. Didn't really know his father, didn't have no huge $50,000 equity grant to start off his business, no horticultural school, none of that stuff. He was working a normal job, working in kind of some kind of assisted living type home, and was trying to figure out kind of what to do with his professional life, and saw some YouTube videos, and then stumbled in the community, and has just been changing the world with his story. So how you doing today, bud?
I'm good, brother. Thanks for the intro. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Equip Expo is coming up, and that is obviously always one of my. I basically look forward to it the whole year. And I don't know how people would not. I don't know how some people go and they don't worry about attending it. Or I don't know how you could go once and then not want to go again. I think this is like my 8th or 9th year doing it. And so, so like back in the day, I went to that pizza place and all that stuff, for the meetups back in the day. But man, so I know you're probably tired of telling the story at this point, and I told a little bit of it at the beginning, but just tell the story, because you're going against all the grain, beating all the odds, and encouraging people to do that every day. Proverbs 27:17 is iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, and that's what you're doing every day. You're encouraging people. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about, or this guy was talking about how encouraging someone means that you're pouring courage into them. And so I think that's what you're doing with the Lawn Care Power Moves podcast, with the attack on the attack with Mac, and just that is the spirit that you're trying to give all these guys out here, that, hey, to keep going, to stick with it, to just like you would if you're in high-level sports. And so kind of tell your story, and I so want to thank you, and thank you for being part of the community, and thank you for having that spirit, because that is the spirit that I get off of you, and that is just that, hey, you're here to encourage and to push people to keep going, because it's hard. It's hard. There's a lot of things that happen in business. This is a hard business. Just like any business, but, you're encouraging guys to, hey, even though if you come from a good or bad background, hey, that's not an excuse. There's no excuses. It's time to get out there on the grass go-karts and go. So tell a little bit about your story, and man, I just want you to pour it out. Go ahead.
Yeah, my man. Well, my name's CORNELL MACK. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I started my business about, I think it was 2016, just on a whim. I seen a YouTube video, and I wouldn't say I didn't like my life, but I didn't see where my future could be doing what I was doing. Not because my work wasn't rewarding, because it was, but because there was a ceiling, and I didn't have control, I felt like. So one day I was watching motivational videos on YouTube and stumbled upon a Keith Kalfas video, and that kind of introduced me to the community. And then I kind of went down the rabbit hole of watching different people who were on YouTube at the time. You were one of them, Tony.
Oh, wow.
One of the early people who was out there that I subscribed to early, because I just wanted to learn. And after about 2 weeks of just all lawn care YouTube stuff, I just was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I had cut grass for my grandmother whenever I was a kid, and I knew that I could do that part, but I didn't know that there was like a business in that. So my eyes were kind of open to the community through the OGs of social media, like lawn care social media. And so I started the business just with the lawnmower that I had from my house and a string trimmer that was gifted to me from my grandfather-in-law and a leaf blower I got from Lowe's. And I just got started. And over time, I stopped listening to music and I just started listening to information, podcasts, different motivational videos, just to be able to learn, but also change my mind about the future that I seen. Because I always had this big vision for my life, even though I didn't know how I'd get there. I thought it'd be through athletics, but unfortunately, I like basketball and I'm short, so I'm only 5'8", so that wasn't going to work. And I realized that, but didn't have any other plan until I seen that video, and I realized something that my grandmother taught me whenever I was a kid was monetizable, and I just kind of got started with that, and then over time, watching people and like going to events like Equip Expo, it just made me want to share my story because maybe it could help someone else. And I guess in the last 2 years, it's helped some people. So it's been cool.
That is crazy, and so it's so cool to hear your story because the way you share it and the way that you go about this is you tell people that lawn care is like a game to you, and I think that is a great way to help to inspire others as well because it's a good way to think about it because we're rolling up to that, like even me today, like that last property of the day, and it's been a long day, that last property, you pull up in the truck and you're kind of like, man, I ain't feeling it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but to think of it as, hey, this will, you'll get it done quick if you just, take one task after the next and just, keep it moving. And if we think about it, hey, we're in a game, the timer's in a countdown, and if you think about it like that, it's a great perspective to help us to keep moving. And all of us across the country, you're encouraging all of us to, hey, we're all doing this. We're all in all have challenges that are going on in our business and our life and all that. But you just encourage to, hey, keep pushing. No excuses, because when you're telling people to keep pushing, you're, kind of something that comes along with that. I think is the no excuses attitude. And which is amazing because if you're telling people to, keep pushing and keep achieving these great things in your life, well, they can't do that if they're buying even one excuse not to do it in their life. You know what I'm saying? So you're kind of like, what do they call it? Inadvertently encouraging people to not take that excuse because, our world today, it seems to encourage people in our world today to, not take the drive and go out there and to make things happen and to just, lay down, do the bare minimum, watch TV all day and vape and whatever people do, all day. And that's regardless of race or color or anything. Like this happens all across people. It's sad. You ride through some of these downtown parts of where I live and you can see guys out there. I mean, it's 2 in the afternoon. They're sitting on their front porch, playing cards or whatever. And that's just, you're encouraging people to, hey, get in the game. And one of the biggest part, even at grass cutting and all that aside, you're changing your family tree. You're literally changing your whole family tree to where, according to your stories, you didn't really know your dad that much, and but you're saying, hey, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to grow my business, and I'm also going to put work into my marriage relationship. I'm going to put work into my kids' relationship. And so, you're literally changing your family tree, and this business is part of it, but it's kind of part of what funds that and part of what helps make that possible time-wise compared to, maybe some other jobs you could have or whatever. But you're literally changing, you already have changed your family tree. And so I just wanted to, just tell you, as another brother doing the same thing, I just, I just started my business. It's still a small business, just like yours. Like, I'm no Jonathan Potoshnik or anything like that. But, so like, still small business, but just another brother that's in the fight, just like me, trying to take time for my kids every day and be present when I'm present and put time into my marriage. And because those things are not just going to magically, they're not going to magically, be good or get better. Our marriage and our kid relationships, all that is only as good as how much work that we put into them and how much we're willing to serve and to lead, our kids and our wife and to do the hard things. And so that's all that is kind of tied into your mission. And so I just wanted to tell you that, hey, I acknowledge that, and I just wanted to encourage you that, hey, it is blessing me out here mowing. I've listened to your podcast and stuff for several years, and so I just wanted to thank you for that.
No problem. But my dad always been in my life. I'm sorry if there was a misunderstanding somewhere, but my pop's always been in my life. He just had his time when he wasn't around due to incarceration. But
I gotcha.
my dad is an awesome dude. He's always been pivotal in my life, helping me to have this imagination that I have. So I just want to correct you there, because I grew up with my dad. But besides that,
I thought when you said that you meant like he was gone to prison, so he was like gone like your whole life or most of your life. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, he was, but that you still have a relationship.
Yes.
I would go visit. We would write, and he'd send me things, and so it was. That's besides the point. The game of what I've seen, the only thing that I've been naturally good at has been sports, at least to my consciousness. As I just woke up and I was athletic enough to be able to play sports, and that allowed me to make friends, develop systems for how to do things. The no excuse attitude is from my parents, because they didn't make excuses. We have our plights, and everyone has what they go through. So none of us are special in that way. And I realized that. But sports in particular was like the thing that I found comfort in, and it was playing sports. And so my whole life and how I seen the world was shaped through being on teams. And teams are a lot like families. And in the families, people are willing to sacrifice whatever to make sure that their family member is successful. And to me, I needed to have that same sort of feeling in whatever it is that I did. So working at group homes and helping people, we were on a team to help a family member. Is how I seen it. My clients were like my family members, and so I was doing that, and it was rewarding, but it wasn't like a game, right? When I got into lawn care, it was the first time it felt like I was on a basketball court or a football field again. And I realized that like all of the principles of getting up early, going to the gym to work out was really the same thing as maybe waking up early, and while you're in the shower listening to a podcast, or while you're on your ride from one job to the next watching a YouTube video to learn how to do something new. And then you could practice those skills the same way I could practice in basketball. I could get teammates the same way that I could in basketball. There's things like Equip Expo and other social media events that I realized through watching YouTube and things that I could go to, which was like going to a pickup game at a basketball court where everyone drives up. They're all from all over the place, but you just find your team and then you run. And that's exactly how lawn care as a business for me, but it's really entrepreneurship as a whole when it pertains to the game. And it's also a game of life that we're playing. And if we all look at ourselves as like an athlete, and that's what I really did, was use my imagination to make basketball and football lawn care, and then or grass cutting go-karts, right? Dirt bikes, whatever you want to call it. Like, I just used my imagination, and then it changed how I seen what I was doing, and it made me want to be good. But then also I realized how much fun I was having. Maybe I should tell other people about this, because how I was seeing my life was like there was a cap on what I could do, and there's no cap on these people who are playing athletic sports. They can start businesses with the proceeds of the thing that they're doing, which is a kid's game that they get paid handsomely for. And I'm so happy for those people that have that talent or they were blessed with that God given ability. But but sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. I just don't
I
want
can
to.
hear everything in the background.
Yeah, my kids they're coming through the garage, getting their bikes and stuff. Just don't mind that. It's fine.
It's okay. But no, I realized that like I could use my imagination to do what I'm doing, but then now let me tell other people about it and tell them my experience, not as an expert of I know everything about business or I know everything about cutting grass or lawnmowers or anything, because it's not like that. But I do know everything about my experience. And if I could share my experience with someone else to encourage them to just believe in themselves, to start part-time or just get started at all, no matter where you have to start at, became like a mission because I just felt like the world opened up once I used my imagination to create this game of lawn care, if that makes sense. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, that's great. No, that's kind of exactly what I'm talking about because some people would think, man, like the average person out there would think, lawn care, like that's probably like the worst job you could have. And like, why would you do that? And like, some people might think that you can make money doing it, but some people would just think that it's just a boring, hot, dirty, crap job in general. And you're changing, you're helping guys, other guys they're finding you out on Instagram and stuff, and they're mowing, and you're helping change their mindset about it, and you're changing their mindset. Like even though your dad made a huge impact on your life, you're doing a whole something different with your actual family right now, and you're doing a whole something different. That's what I'm saying with lawn care too. Is you're helping people to realize that hey, having a lawn care business is not just something that weird people do to make side beer money or something if they absolutely have to. No, you're saying no. This can be a game. This can be a real career, a real awesome thing. And so how you're viewing that is what is so amazing. How you're viewing your family, how you're doing all that. That's what I'm saying. You're changing. You're changing your family tree, and you're also changing so many people's lives in the lawn community. Maybe they're just starting their business, and like even on your podcast, what was that, a couple weeks ago when you had Crawley on there, and he was talking about how you had made such a huge impact on him starting his business. I was listening to their podcast last night. I was out in the driveway working on something, working on my wife's car, and I was just listening because see, they don't have theirs on audio yet for some reason. I talked to Boneyard about it, like, why do you not have it on audio yet? But anyway, I think they're working on that. But that was, they're just two guys on there that are fairly new in business. I mean, compared to some of us. I mean, me, I've never done anything besides lawn care. Like I've never had any other job.
Wow.
So
see, that's awesome.
Yeah. So like to hear, and they're just on there. The one guy, I think he was maybe 5 years-ish. The Crawley and the other guy, maybe 10 years. I can't remember which one was which one had the amount of years. But anyway, they're semi-new, and they're just encouraging each other. They had this other guy on there the other night from St. Louis, and his business is maybe like 5 years old, and they're just talking about, the money that they were able to make and how they were able to. The one guy was talking, they were congratulating this other guy. The other guy, I didn't know the guy that they had, like that joined in the show with them. But they were congratulating him for some milestones that he did, and they were just talking about how they never thought it'd be possible to cross, $100,000 in 1 year and how crazy it was, just with this journey of the lawn care business. And, and you're just helping guys just like this, like all the time. And so what I'm saying is don't stop it. I'm saying, hopefully people that listen to this, will all start listening to your podcast, and it will just be more fuel on the fire, of what you're doing. Now, There are, obviously there are good and bad things that we have to do. I mean, if we, charging the right prices and all these things, that we have to make hard decisions, and we have to help other people to make hard decisions too, which you're good about that. But I'm saying, if we only told people, hey, everything's good, everything's all positive, there's no negative, well, that we have to give them like the whole truth about, hey, you actually, and you do this. But I'm just saying, there are, plenty of motivational people out there, just, everything is great, and just we're all together, everybody encourage together. And yes, I mean, I'm on board with that, but also we also have to walk with one another and help each other to, fix these problems, in business and life, and things that we're doing incorrectly that will long term down the road, harm what we're doing. And so I love that you're able to, every time I listen to your podcast, you're incorporating some things. Hey, I used to do this, and I think you should not do this anymore. And here are things, you're not just saying, oh, everything's great, every mower's great, every, deal that comes along is great, and you should do it, and just everybody, everybody just do everything and do whatever. Like, no, like, to help people to be great, we also have to help them to steer their business in the right, go down the right lane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's, so you're not only are you just like encouraging people, but you're helping them to fine tune, what's going on in their life too. And that's part of, how this whole thing of you helping them see it as a game and all that is awesome. And so I wanted to tell you that because you're not a normal person. You're not a normal person that, there's hundreds of people a year or whatever that even start a lawn YouTube channel, but you're someone that's a little different than just the average person, that starts a YouTube or Instagram or whatever else. And so I just wanted to thank you that, and thank you for being a friend and just taking time to come on here and do this. That's really cool.
Yeah, no problem, brother. But I the reason that I like to look at it as a game is because you're right. Everything's not going to be good all the time, but if you look at it as a game and a game that you love, like I didn't like running suicides for basketball. I didn't like running. We had to do these things called 350s where you had to run around the court 8 times in a certain amount of time and then check your pulse afterwards. And right after that, jump over this bench for a minute and a half and then jump. Like, we had to do all of these things. That was not the fun part of basketball or sports. When you start football, it's not fun when you first start lifting weights for football and you're sore. It don't get fun until after you go through some stuff and your body starts to build up muscles. And then you start to see your strength get stronger. You can add more weight on. And now you're looking for the pain points on how you can get better. Sports and business as a whole, lawn care is what we do and what I do, is the same exact thing. It's not always going to be good, but we're in the game that we love playing. And that's how I look at it. And so when I can explain that to people, it doesn't matter. I'm not necessarily trying to tell everyone they need to start a lawn care business. If you don't like cutting grass, maybe you have allergies, then fine. Then don't start a lawn care business. But there's all types of businesses that you could do. And also, for me personally, I did play sports where you could play outdoors or where you're hot and you're sweaty all the time. So it was pretty much the exact same thing. I'm out here now. How many suicides have I ran? But it's also for when I'm hitting a 3-pointer to win the game and the crowd is going wild. That's the same as when I get to the yard and it looks terrible. And now I leave at the end, even if it's the last day, I hit 17 game winners or 12 game winners, however many properties I did or whatever job you've done or however many people that you've closed is the actual game that you're getting to play. There's going to be things that hurt you. Like maybe you bought a dump truck and realize that's not something that you need, like me. And it takes a while before you figure that out, right? But until you have a coach or someone telling you to help you do these things, if you don't know, you don't know. And sometimes you got to go through some struggles. And so it's not always going to be easy, but it's the game that we love. And sometimes you got to go through practices and hard times so that whenever it comes time for you to get that pass from whoever, or maybe you got to be like Michael Jordan and you just got to take the shot on your own. But because you went through a lot of practices, because this is the game of lawn care for me, or whatever business it may be for you, or whatever life thing it may be for you, you've practiced those shots. You've seen a lot of misses. Now let's get ready for them to go in, and boom, just get started. So that's kind of how I feel about all of that.
And that's true. You're not just encouraging people in the lawn care business. I just feel like that's predominantly maybe people that listen, but you're just encouraging them in their life in general because, like you're saying, it's mowing grass all day in 90 degrees for 10 hours. It's not for everyone, and just the stresses and pain of business. But you're still you're encouraging whatever area of life, and so. Man, I was listening today. The podcast of yours I was listening today when you started going down that story about the Wendy's. I'm like, oh, I love that story. I was like, man, this is so good. That was one of my favorite parts about it. The story about how like it took so long to get your food from Wendy's after you had went and got a phone and stuff. I was listening to that today. Like, I like it when you do those story times. I think it's really good. So I think you should not cut those out. I think that's one of my favorite parts of the podcast is when you go down story lane because you're good at making the story sound fun, So
well, there's a whole lot of stuff we go through on a daily basis that I be telling Captain Jack, man, I should make a video of this, but it doesn't work the same way. Whenever the stories come to my head, it's because something sparked the memory in my brain, and my ADHD is so bad that there's probably thousands of things that I will remember over time, but then I'll also forget them again. And these stories, it's that's what happens whenever I tell them. So maybe we'll get one before we get done with all of this, because you just never know, where they're going to come from.
The story this one was probably a couple months ago when you told the story about how the lady and she was maybe having like diabetic problems or something. She kind of sideswiped her trailer.
Yeah.
That was a good story too. That was real good.
I had just got the so well. All right, so you want a story? I am very ADHD is a gripping thing over me, and I'm learning how to deal with it. So, and now that I know that I have it, it's even funny to me. It's frustrating as it can be sometimes. So I was having truck problems with this dump truck. Was the bane of my existence, Tony, and it just kept having electrical problems. It was my snowplow truck. I couldn't see with it. This huge dump truck, crew cab, it was like 27 feet long or something. So it was terrible to plow with, especially the plowing that I had to do. And then once we got through the winter, and it didn't even rain, snow that much. So Mother Nature just is not on our side here in Western Pennsylvania this year. But the dump truck was having electrical problems. So I'm on my way home at 10 o'clock in the morning. It wouldn't start out. And we parked in front of a garage that you can't park in front of, because the yard that we were doing was going to take, it's either like 4 to 7 minutes to do. So we turn the car off, we get out, we hurry up, do the yard real quick, get back in. Captain Jack presses the start button, and nothing. It's not clicking, nothing. I'm like, oh my goodness. So this guy comes, he helps us get the truck started. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. We're killing it too. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. We are already done with like 11 or 12 properties. It was crazy.
Oh, wow.
It was like going to be a crazy historic day for us at that time. And then the truck don't start. So the dude's like, we're on house 11. I think we had 30. We wanted to go for 40 that day. We were on house 11, and he's like, you should just let it run for the rest of the day. And I'm like, nah, because some of the properties that we had to do were like far away from where I had to park, but then we would be mowing a big area and not close to the truck, so I can't just leave it running. So anyway, I call my wife or text my wife, and I'm like, we got to get a new truck. So long story short, I get a new truck, and then the very next day, I get a brand new 7x14 SureTrack trailer because I wanted to make my footprint smaller, to go from a 47-foot rig between the dump truck and my 16 foot trailer, enclosed trailer, down to like 27 feet total.
Because you
So
just got a
now,
Ram 1500, that second.
yeah,
truck.
Ram, yeah, and then a 14-foot trailer. So now our footprint's way smaller, so much easier to use. So we get to this house and pull the lawnmower off. I've had the trailer for like 3 days. We just got the thing. It's the first time using it as I had just painted it up. I had just painted everything. I didn't have all of the racks on yet, just like a blower rack and a gas can rack. So it was like it was brand new.
Brand new.
We pulled brand new, bro. We pulled the mowers off. Captain Jack starts mowing where he's supposed to mow. I hear in the background this scraping noise. Now I had the Apple AirPod Pro Maxes my wife got me. So I had those on, and you really can't hear too much. But this was so loud that I could hear through the noise canceling. And the lawnmower being on, I could still hear this. So I'm like, what is that? I turn around, I see a Dodge Caliper, black Dodge Caliper truck or SUV, little SUV.
Yeah, a little mid-sized little car SUV.
Yeah, it's coming down
Dodge Caliber.
Yeah,
yep.
Dodge Caliper. So, it's coming down the street, and it's black. The whole side of it is scraped up, and both the tires on that side are flat. And my trailer is right there. So I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my trailer. I'm sizing it up. I'm like 10 feet from the trailer. And I see it's a lady. And I'm like, all right. And then I heard she went over just maybe like the inch of the ramp. The ramp gate. Ramp gate was down. She went over like the furthest left inch of it. But when I seen the trailer move, I backed the mower up and I seen that it was bent, and I immediately jumped off the mower. I left it running and everything in the middle of the yard. I raised the ramp gate up, and I hop in the truck, and I'm chasing this person down. I get up to a stoplight. They make a right. I'm like 4 cars behind. They make a right. I don't really know where the person went out first. Then I see to my right, they're down there at the other light about to make a left. So I make the right. I get down behind them. I'm like 7 cars behind. This is a big 4-way intersection. The light turns red on the car before me. And I'm so lucky that I was far enough back behind the car that was in front of me, because they stopped. And I got the truck and the trailer at the big 4-way intersection right off of the ramp to get to the highway, and there's always state troopers sitting there. But to this day, there wasn't. I go around that car, I shouldn't be saying this, probably.
No, that's
I
fine.
make a turn. I make a turn, but now I'm still behind her. There's like a USPS truck, like a big mail 16-wheeler, big rig truck, a whole bunch of cars. I'm looking for her. I see her go up this hill, and I do the same thing again. I go around everyone, make a turn. I go up. I cut the lady off, and I'm like, you hit my truck. I was furious. I couldn't believe that. I thought that the lady hit and ran. I'm like, you hit it. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? She's looking at me with a blanket stare, just looking at me like, huh? And I go around, I get out the car, I said, I'm calling the police, I'm calling 911, and I'm taking a picture of the license plate. Do you want to handle this the right way, or which way do you want to do this? She gets out of the car and she walks up to me, and she's like got tears in her eyes, and she said, I got diabetes. And she's walking like, and then I realized that she's probably like 65, 70 years old. And she's having like a diabetic emergency, some sort of medical emergency. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been out of the field, but I'm just like, I know CPR and all of that. So if anything were to happen, I could have helped her out. But I actually had to call 911 because the whole side of her car was ripped apart. Like she must have like hit a retaining wall or something leaving from her driveway. I don't know. I'm speculating, so forgive me for that. But the side of her car she was like going through something. The paramedics came, they took her away, and it was wild that 3 days after I got the trailer it got hit and ran. And then the next week, some kid hit and ran the front of my 1500 Ram.
Oh man.
So, it
Well,
was wild, man.
it's great if she was having that and she didn't know where she was. It's a blessing that she actually stopped when you cut her off and she didn't just drive through you, when you pulled the
No, she was going real slow at that point. Like, I don't know if she was just like disoriented. I don't think she realized what she was doing, where she was going. So she had stopped. I helped her put the car in park and everything. And once she got out, we just kind of hung out. She was really nice, actually. I felt real bad, but I was actually happy that I was there because it could have been so much worse. Like when I say the things that she drove through were so busy, and she didn't do any other damage besides nicking whatever she scraped up prior to the encounter with my truck. I'll never know. But my trailer was like it was mine.
Well, it was awesome that you did that because she could have killed herself or someone else, if you didn't get her off the road. So it was actually a great thing, that you went and found her, stopped. You're just saying you don't know how she made it through all those intersections and stuff.
Yeah, bro. It was wild. That was a wild day.
And who knows what else she done hit before you hit your trailer, because you said the side of the car was messed up pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, the things you see when you're out here just trying to live the dream.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So tell them about all the things you have at the expo, the Pod Row. That's going to be exciting because I know the expo is closer than everyone thinks. I mean, it is what? It's the 19th today, so what is that, less than a month? And so tell them about all the things. Pod Row, that'll be cool because people can come actually visit you live on your podcast. Now, what time is the actual Pod Row? Because every single person says different times, for the day. So what in the world time is actual Pod Row on the days?
I've been told that it's on Wednesday and Thursday from 10 to 2 p.m. in the West Wing. That's what I've been told. I haven't heard any other information from it, but things are fluid as we approach.
Yes.
Expo.
Yeah, I just wonder how that is because I think Paul or Naylor said the other day 12 to 4 and some of the other, because the West Wing opens at 9 a.m. So are y'all just going to have like empty tables sitting over there like when the thing's open and nobody's there, or like how? And then Paul was saying that he was saying on his podcast today that he's going to be at the John Deere booth like most of the Wednesday and Thursday doing live podcasts there. So I'm like, man, but
I honestly don't know, bro. Like I said, it's a fluid situation. I've been told 10 to 2 p.m. That's 4 hours, right?
Yeah,
10 to 2 p.m. And now you're saying 12 to 4. So I'm gonna have to ask Naylor. I just know that it's in the West Wing, but I guess I'm gonna have to find out.
Well, I ain't even never been over to the West Wing. I think they had like a. Did you go over there last year? They had like I don't know, maybe like a golf simulator or something over there, and some things. But
I think they had a drone thing.
Oh, okay.
In there, I just walked through because, I mean, it was like I mean, if you wanted slower paced, it was a little more slower paced over there in the West Wing. But everything was new, I think, over there. It was like an innovation area where there was like things you couldn't take pictures of.
Yep.
I mean, there was some cool stuff over there. So, I mean, I'm excited for the opportunity to sit and podcast live so that I could do more episodes, because this podcast and stuff is not for the faint of heart.
Yes.
It takes a lot to do these things, especially if you're interviewing people to be able to get them. So I'm excited to be able to meet people and talk to a person face to face and not have a screen or a telephone in between.
Yeah, and you said you have a few headsets, so you're gonna have guys that are walking up, they're gonna be able to get on your podcast or what?
Oh yeah, I got 4 headsets, so at least 3 people at a time. We can knock on, which makes for me personally, it's better. It's more fun because it's like you're playing back and forth with teammates, or even if it's not a teammate, it's like it becomes a game too. So conversations are cool because also you get to hear from different people's perspective right there in the moment.
Right.
And,
Yeah, it's different when you're physically sitting beside the person. It's cool. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah.
I did it I did it with him at the Synced Live or whatever it was, and that was really
Mm-hmm.
cool. Like you meet, just random people that you flag or meet up and come on your podcast. You just meet some of the coolest people, that you would never even think about, and so that's really cool. There's a guy I met there, Jason Lee, put him on my podcast, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start a podcast like in a few months." And sure enough, their podcast has been amazing. It's called Green Side Up. I don't know if
Oh yeah. He's come on my live show a couple of times.
yeah, just a super cool guy. He does it like with his friend that like has this tree company, and man, he's got some stories because he has a big company of like this one time where one of his employees like burnt down the shop, and man, just like crazy stuff, and I didn't know him from Jack. He was walking by, and so I literally like, hey, come here, you want to get on my podcast? Never seen him, didn't know who he was, and like so it's just cool because you never know who you'll just like make a relationship like that, just like off the rip, just from someone that you'll meet. And I asked about I need to figure out about the pod row thing. Well, I just know that because everybody in the podcast world is mentioning pod row, that I know that the whole time the West Wing is open, there's going to be guys just standing around over there wondering, if y'all are going to be doing it. If the expo's open, there's going to be people standing around in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's my guess is that will happen. And then, anyway, it seems like I was just wondering to know what time because I wanted to come by and see you guys and, shake your hands, whatever. So I just, let me know when the actual time is because everyone's saying a different time. But
I got you.
which it's so hard because everyone has all these meetups and this and that. I mean, the expo. How can you explain it to someone that's never done it before? And if you're gonna go to one thing, you're gonna miss 5 other things. Like all throughout the day. It's kind of how it goes.
It's super fast paced.
Yeah, so go ahead and tell people. Well, we don't know exactly when you'll be at Pod Row, but we think it's 10 to 2. Go over there, look if you see Cornell. He's a good-looking man. You'll see him when you go over there.
Well, it's like I said, it's a fluid situation, but as it stands, not like I'm gonna be busy the whole week. So on Monday I'm getting down there on. You asked, what should people expect when to get there, right?
Yeah, I was you didn't have to explain it, but if you want to, like, what is someone who's never been to it? Number one, because every episode I'm telling people that they should come to the expo, but I want you to tell them, hey, why maybe should they come to the expo? And you can't even describe it on here how it is. So I'm saying describe it for someone who's never been before. Try to describe why they should come and visit you on the Pod Row and all that, and just describe the whole event if you can. A couple, a few minutes.
Yeah. So for me, when my first year I went down, it was to meet people. Honestly, it was to meet the people that were making the videos that inspired me to get into the business. So I had a whole plan. Like I had people on a list in my phone that if I seen them, I was going to make sure that I said something to them, that I shook their hand, that I told them why I wanted to meet them, whatever. So that was for me. But then I also, when I got there, I did not have a plan for what equipment I wanted to see. I didn't read the magazines to find out what new innovative things were going to be there. So I didn't have an agenda when it came to that. And for me, it was just a lot of walking around and witnessing how big the industry actually was. Because prior to going there wasn't as many people making content for me to see that the industry was as big as it was. When I got there and I seen that stuff in person, it changed my perspective on what my business was, even though I prefer to stay small. And have a small business. Like I don't want to grow to $1 million. I like where I'm at currently, and I just like to kind of refine my game and continue to make my game better at what I do. But when I got down there, it was like, oh, I thought I was just a grass cutter and 25 yards would be cool. And then I got down there and I'm talking to like a 14-year-old and he had 90 yards. I'm like, what? A 14-year-old? A 14-year-old. Then you talk to a guy who's 65, and he's doing 40 yards, but he's a millionaire, got a 401k already that he's living off, and he got 14 grandchildren, and he only has a business because he's working with his grandson. And you get to hear those type of stories. And then you got the people who are right where you're at, and like you get to hear some of their ups and some of their downs. And then you get to create relationships with those people, and they might not be in your local area. Like Tony's not close to me, but I'll get to see him at Equip Expo. And every year I know that Tony's going to be there. And now Tony knows that I'm going to be there. And at some point, we're going to find one another. And all of the chaos and all of the pageantry of everything that you see down there with famous YouTube people and famous TikTokers and big brand new lawnmowers, and sometimes even lawnmowers catch on fire. It is a magical place to see all types of wonderful things to change. For me, it was a change of perspective on what this thing could be. And then it also allowed me to realize that like the people that I admired from social media were humble, regular people that were approachable, easy to talk to, wanted to help, not just like a TV actor that you see on. These were actual people I got to talk to, and maybe have a hamburger with, or maybe go to sit in the food court and have some of the. One thing Equip got to do is get better food.
Yeah.
I keep saying that until they do, but
like
have some bad food
yeah.
with some good people. You know what I mean? And that's what it was. But then I was inspired to like I started to want to have an Instagram page, or at least grow my Instagram, not necessarily to have a whole lot of followers, but to have a whole lot of relationship. Like
Amen.
I now have text like DMs with people that are from when I started the Instagram, and they were the first people to be like, yo, I just seen your video. I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. I just subscribed. And I'm like, wow, well, thanks, bro. And they had only heard of me because of a podcast that I was on with someone else. And I was just like, well, if I'm having a positive impact on people through being on Fullerton Unfiltered or the Green Industry podcast or LCR Media podcast, like I've been on all of them now, and people are reaching out to me because of that. I felt like, why shouldn't I just have a podcast then, or have a YouTube channel? And to my surprise, the following year, we did a small meetup and 25 people came. And then I did a meetup the year after that and 180 people came. And now there's going to be another meetup now, and we're a little under a month away, and there's already 100 people signed up for my 2024 Winning Life meetup. So like things are fluid, things are happening, and the relationships that you get to create and the opportunities that are out there to have all these different relationship opportunities is invaluable in my personal opinion. So why should someone go? It is strictly because you get to be around other people that will actually motivate you, that actually want to hear what you have to say, who actually believe that the future that you aspire to have is possible for you, and that it can inspire them, or theirs can inspire you to do even better in your thing. So that's why I would say go.
I agree. I think the number one that if I had to boil the expo down, number one thing that you will get from it is just the motivation that you feel from just the whole industry in general, even people that are, online friends, influencers, all that, and even just seeing the industry as a whole in general. It no longer just feels like, hey, I'm this weird guy that, goes out and mows yards with his truck. Like when you see this is like a whole motivational, huge industry that is going on, and you get to feel, you get to be a small part of it if you come to that event, and it definitely does help to push us in the right direction. I mean, right now, as of like this year, shout out to Julio Tomei. I using
Father.
Yeah. So I am using the credit card thing that he uses, and I have all my customers signed up for that, like card on file, like that. That is amazing. Like I would never would not have that in place if I didn't, know about this community and know about, and the other thing is, so year to year as I go there and I have all these relationships, I feel like I'm expected to make my business better. Does that make sense? So
yes,
just being around all these people, you feel, it's peer pressure in the positive direction. Everyone there is like, oh, well, I could, do this to make money this year, doing this service, whatever in my business, or I could possibly get this piece of equipment and be more efficient. So like the pressure to make things better, which obviously is making things better for your family and all the way around, that is the number one best part, about the expo. And you'll, man, it's even getting to the point where you'll see people that, you may see online that are a little bit outside of our industry. Does that make sense? Like last year I talked to Vince from VCG Construction. He's a big tool channel, on YouTube. And I'm a big Milwaukee fan. I have probably 30, 40 different tools, Milwaukee tools.
I like Milwaukee too.
Yeah. So I had no idea that someone like that would be there, but I was there to talk. I mean, he has like a tool channel that's, I don't know, several hundred thousand subscribers. And he was super nice. Like he was great to talk to. And then you might bump into someone, just someone that has a business that's several $1 million, and they encourage you. And that's the biggest thing. So yes, it's cool to go and see the shiny mowers and that kind of thing. But just the encouragement that you'll get from it is the best part. So, but it is important for someone like we enter this with the right mindset, because if we go and I tell people this, like if we go and we just stand in the corner and we don't, like we got to put out the effort to have the right mindset. If we enter the expo with the right mindset, we will gain unlimited amount of knowledge, from everyone. But if we, obviously, just like anything in life, if we, enter it with the wrong mindset, then, it's possible that guys will like, yeah, I went, looked at a few mowers, whatever, and I left. Well, you're missing missing the whole biggest point, of the whole thing. Yeah. Like we need to, maybe that can be our lawn care power move, as we start to wrap this thing up. What do you think? Share your opinion on that for our lawn care power move.
Yeah, you have to have a goal when you go. So, like I said at the beginning, my first year, my goal was to meet the 9 people, and then on my way down, there was one other person that I added to the list, but it was to meet those 10 people was my goal for the first year. And then my second year, I was like, I want to grow my social media. I want to start my own YouTube channel, this, that, and the third. Because I want to have more of the interactions with the people. Like I wanted to continue the relationships that I had with the people that I was meeting. And it's not like you want to be giving your phone number out to people all over the world, but give your YouTube channel out or give your Instagram or your TikTok out. And now you get to communicate with these people that you met down there. So my second year was like, my goal was to meet the people and change their faces from the icons of Instagram or a YouTube channel to an actual person that I know, like you, Tony. Like you walked up to me and was like, yo, what's up, Mac? I seen your video. I love what you're doing on your YouTube channel. And I was like, I've been watching your videos for like 5 years. Hey, my goal was like now you're my friend.
Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
We are acquaintances as long as we're icons. So you see my caricature logo on my Instagram channel, but we're not having correspondence like ear to ear or FaceTime to FaceTime or whatever. And that probably won't happen until I meet someone in person and you get to actually see, do they have, what are they actually all about? And, have that human experience, which we don't get to have a lot in the social media age. People a lot of times would rather stand in a corner and not go say hi and then be upset at either the person that they wanted to meet or upset even worse at themselves. Like, I don't like to feel like that. So my second year going was like, I want to make more people people to me, so that I have these real relationships that I want to, make better over time, right? You want to
Yes.
have
Yes.
good teammates, right? And so then it became, all right, my third year was my first meetup. Like the one that was at the bowling alley last year was the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
2023 Winning Life meetup. Is I wanted to create a community where, like you said it creates an accountability, so to speak, where you want to make sure that you're doing better this year than you were last year, because when you see these people, they're going to be telling you the stories of how, the things that happened, but hopefully that maybe their revenue went up, or maybe they
Yes.
hired their first employee, or if they were having troubles with having employees, and they just felt like they would be more solid if they just was doing it by themselves, and they downsized. But you get to hear those stories, right?
Yes. Yes.
But we also get to be motivated, because we're not in competition with the lawn care bro or lawn care sister that's out there. You're in competition with you. And that's what it's like in the game of life. That's what it's like in the game of basketball. You're not really trying to race against the opponent. If you're a sprinter in the Olympics, you're racing against your previous best time. You want to increase that every time. And if that makes you a world champion, great. But if you just beat yourself over time and time again, you just keep making your own personal record over and over and over again, and you're constantly in that win mode. And you can be winning at all types of levels. You could be winning, making $20,000 a year because it's your side hustle,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's just for you to go on vacation with. Or you
Right.
could be winning, making $100,000 a year, and it's still just a side hustle, and you still got a full-time job, but you got 3 cousins who are out here doing the work for you. Like, you could be winning because you're out of the business completely, and you got 25 employees, and they're out there crushing the whole industry in your area. There's all types of various ways to win, and as soon as you realize you're not in competition with someone else, because we ain't playing high school sports anymore.
Right.
We're
Right.
playing our own life. We're playing our own potential. And where do I want to go? And let me get around people who are trying to go to their own potential, so that when we go to the gym and we work out together, and I can't get that weight all the way up, I got my man Tony here to help pull that thing up off me. And then the next time I'm going to get it. But Tony's going to be right there. Whenever you are standing there and you're pushing up your max thing again, you don't even need help. I'm going to be still sitting there congratulating you. And that's what my events are all about, is creating that community. So my third year was like the beginning of creating this winning life sort of family or community.
Yeah.
And then Cedric and I, with the lawn care power moves in the light bringers community, because I call people light bringers, and that's people like you, Tony. It's what I'm trying to be. People like Paul, people like Brian, who are sharing the information to unlock people's minds to the possibilities of the bright future that they could have. The torchbearers who are out here, and you don't have to be someone that's been in the game for 15 years. You could be someone who just started, but your torch might be small because you don't know a lot right now, but you're sharing your journey, and that's getting someone else to be like, well, let me go find some matches so I can start a little torch too.
Yes.
That's what this whole thing is about. So that's what my events have been about, and that's what this new one, or this current year, 2024 Winning Life Meetup, which if you want to go, you can sign up. I'll send you a link so you can put it in your show notes.
Oh, that'd be great.
You can sign up.
Yeah.
You can sign up on my link tree at Mac_landscaping 412, on my YouTube channel, Mac Landscaping and Lawn Care, the Road to Equip Facebook page, which I got to get Naylor to pin it at the top.
Yeah.
And also any of my podcasts, either on the Attack with Mac or Lawn Care Power Moves. So yeah.
As people leave here, if they're listening to this, then they probably like audio podcasts. So if we leave them with one call to action, I would tell you to look up On the Attack with Mac and the Lawn Care Power Moves podcast, because then, yes, we'll drop the link in below, but you can also, he gives much more info on all his events and and that kind of thing, even on his podcast. And hopefully you guys out there, if you're out there mowing, listening to this, go ahead and hit follow or subscribe. Depends on what platform you're on, for whatever audio podcast platform you listen to. I listen on audio out there mowing every day, and so you guys should check it out. Mac is a super cool guy. And hey, thank you for your sticker. About 6 feet away from me on my garage, I have the Mac sticker. But it's the one, like, before you had the little man. It just says, the one I have, it just says Mac landscaping.
Well, I got you, bro. I'll have a whole lot of stickers. Stickers this year. You asked me for a power move. I do have one for you because
that's awesome.
Kind of wasn't one.
That was.
I do have one.
This whole thing has been a power move that you've shared so far. So.
Well, I appreciate it. I hope that we could help people, and I hope that
Absolutely.
the people that listen to your podcast get something from it. And if you do, give my man Tony a 5-star rating. They go a long way.
Absolutely,
you know
yes.
But a power move for anyone, because my main thing is get started, man. You'll figure it out as you go. But a power move is for me personally, I wasn't happy where I was. Not that I didn't have a rewarding job or anything, but I wasn't being able to be there in the physical form for my family. Yeah, we can provide financially and all of that, but presence is way more than present, right?
Absolutely.
I don't want to be just buying things. I need to be there at my daughter's basketball games, her cheerleading games. I need to be at my baby's graduation, at my son's graduation. We need to be there in people's lives. And so something had to change. And I heard my personal favorite is Jim Rohn, and he's who I heard say this, but he said that nothing changes if nothing changes. And
Amen.
I had to, that was the power move for me. It was I had to realize that a lot of the things that I was doing, right, blaming other people, making excuses for myself, saying that there was somebody else, it was their fault that I didn't get where I needed to go. It was all right, well, where has that mentality got me? And if I keep doing this, where will it continue to keep me? And so I got to change something, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And that's when I found a YouTube video that created an idea in my head that made me believe that there was something that was out there if I would just change a little bit. And I ain't saying I changed all the way, but we're working on changing.
We're all still working
everything.
on it.
And so it's a work in progress. So if you're not happy where you are, I wasn't happy where I was, and hundreds of thousands of other people and the tens of thousands of people that will be at Equip Expo to also share the same thing with you. If you're not happy, change something, because if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Well, come see Cornell Mack at his events. He's going to be a MC at the LCR Summit, and then he's got his he'll be at Pod Row early in that day, Wednesday. He's got a meetup on Wednesday night. So y'all be sure to follow his podcasts. They mention those every week. Cedric is also coming, I'm assuming. Because he's a super cool guy. I want to get him on here some point too. But is he going to be down at Pod Row with you, podcasting, or what?
Well, we'll probably do a couple lawn care power moves episodes there as well, because why the heck not?
Yeah. Stack as many as you can while you're there, I would say. Yeah. Well, thank you, bud. I so appreciate your time. Sorry it took more time than I told you that I would. But I want to get you off here and just, man, thank you so much. I could talk to you for 1,600 hours, but I'm going to see you in a month or less. And, hey, I'm going to come stand in line at that Pod Row, and I don't know what, I want to get on your podcast. So if the opportunity arises for that, I'll love to do that. And, so all you guys out there, come stand in line and get on some of these guys' podcasts, because it's cool. It's really cool. And thank you, bud, for all that you're doing for the community. There's so many awesome guys in the community. Me and you are just one of thousands, but we're all pulling each other in a good direction. Accountability, I believe, is a good word for that. In general, we want everyone's pushing our lives and our business. We all come and hope that it's we all expect each other's business to be better for ourselves than it was the time before. Like you're saying, doesn't mean that you have to have 1,000 crews or whatever. Maybe you got more of your time back, or maybe whatever. But yeah, so guys, come to the expo. It's not too late. hotels 15 minutes in any direction of the event, you can book those the day before, because 15 minutes out, they don't know the event is going on. It's in the middle of the week. There's good pricing on hotels. Literally last year, I didn't know until like a few days before if I could come or not. So we booked one 15, 20 minutes south, and I got a great price on it. So obviously the ones, I'm staying at one that's like across the street, and like those ones, they're probably sold out at this point. But you guys out there listening, it's not too late. You can come meet Cornell. It's a tax write-off. Mac 50, you get in there. It was only $15, but still only $30, and you can get in there and come meet these guys and just enter the event, with a humble attitude and be willing to talk to people and willing to learn. And just the biggest thing is just be willing to make sure you go up and just talk to people, because if you think about it, guys out there, it is one of the easiest places in the world to talk to people, because everyone that's there is basically doing the same business as you. So it is the easiest place in the world, in my opinion, to strike up a conversation with a random person. You know what I'm saying? So because we're all kind of doing the same thing. Either they're dealers of the stuff, or they make something, or they have a business or something like that, or they wouldn't be there. So guys, come hang out with Cornell, hang out with me. It is going to be the best expo ever this year. Expo 2024. So, all right, bud. I'll see you soon. Thank you for your time tonight. Guys, check out his podcast. He's going to send me some links and stuff. We'll put them down below. And just appreciate your time. All right, buddy. I'll see you later.
All right, man.
See you, bud.
Peace.
All right, guys. That was lcbu27. What an awesome guy. What an awesome interview. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You got a long one this time. Appreciate you. And yeah, I don't have much else to tell you. Come join us at the expo. It's going to be off the chain. See ya.